Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that might be the path to finding the winner. Well, this weekend, Saturday racing in Hong Kong, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 3, where the winning factor is the draw. So this is a Class 3 down the straight 1,000 metre course, and I think the main players here are Baby Crystal, Pleasant Endeavour, Flying High and the 3-year-old Ka Ying Victory, who all met in a very similar event on May 11. The main runners to watch are Baby Crystal, blue and white, gate 10, Ka Ying Victory, gate 4, blue with red sleeves, and in between them, Pleasant Endeavour from gate 7 and Flying High, gate 5. Now they all begin well. Baby Crystal quickly leads the outside rail over Pleasant Endeavour and Flying High, with Ka Ying Victory from the worst of the draws, dropping back and stalking them for Alexi Bedell. The speed is average, and Baby Crystal's back is very happy most of the way. That is, until the final 100 metres, when Ka Ying Victory finishes well out closer to the centre of the track and wears him down. Now, there was a significant 16 pounds in the handicaps between these two horses on that day. This time, Baby Crystal has an apprentice allowance, which changes the equation, and now there's only 4 pounds between them. So that's certainly a factor in Baby Crystal's favour. But there are also significant changes to the barrier draws. When we look on the map, Ka Ying Victory goes from barrier 4 out to 6, Pleasant Endeavour from 7 to 9, and Baby Crystal from the outside 10 to the very inside gate 1. Now Baby Crystal still might be able to lead them from there, but he will have to do more work than last time if he's to find his way across the field to the preferred section near the outside rail, and we'll see how much of the weight turnaround that negates. For his part, Ka Ying Victory had to be pulled back into a position behind the speed last time so he could get closer to the outside rail in running, but this time he'll find himself closer to the rail without having to make any more effort. And if you think these draws are unimportant on the straight course, well, let's have a look at some statistics. So this is over the last 5 seasons since September 2019, and while there is a perception that only the outside draws are the best, and gates 11 and 14 do have the highest strike rates, as a block, draws in the middle like 5, 6, 7 look almost as good for win rates and better for performing above expectations. I would suggest that's because horses coming across from the middle to the outside get more room and can cause problems, traffic problems, for the outside draw horses as they do come across. But notably, gate 1 doesn't do the job for either win rate or expected wins, and in the current season there has been only one winner from gate 1 down the straight course. So the tip from me in race 3 is Ka Ying Victory. His winning factor, the draw. There's certainly a major weight turnaround this time in favour of Baby Crystal, and it may be enough to see him as the winner. But I think that is watered down quite considerably by the change in barriers as well, and I'm looking for the 3-year-old Ka Ying Victory to beat Baby Crystal once again. The second race I'm looking at on today's show is race 5, where our winning factor is keeping it simple. This is a Class 4, 1,400 metres, and a good spread of chances here, coming from a few different form directions. Now, Run Timing did a good job without luck at his first 1,400 metre race start. Enjoy Golf and Strathpeffer are racing well. Great Achiever has had some excuses in his recent defeats. Patch of Time has his share of ability and a recent change of trainer, while Master of All makes the rise in grade after 2 very solid Class 5 wins. So some varying paths into this race, but for me the key is going to be how it will be run. We'll get to more of that in a minute. First, let's have a look at a couple of the major protagonists and how they performed at their last starts, both on May 11. First of all, race 656, and Master of All, gate 6, dark blue with light blue sleeves, and he's quickly out of the gates. There isn't a whole lot of speed on, as you can see on the heat map, and he has no issue keeping in touch with the leader for Keith Young, but eventually settles for the box seat and has a nice uneventful trip there before Jung brings him out in the stretch, puts away the leader at the 200 metres, and he comes clear for an easy victory. So, Class 5, certainly, but that was a win full of authority, and of course he's now taking on tougher class, but on this show we're always looking closely at horses rising in grade off a win. A few hours later on the same day, we saw Run Timing tackle a distance beyond 1200 metres for the first time. This is race 664, gate 14 in red and yellow colours. Run Timing begins well enough, but his jockey Harry Bentley has only one thing in mind, and that is taking him back to the rear, getting him to switch off and relax over this new distance. Now that job is partly successful. It's an average speed. Run Timing still looks like he'd prefer to go a bit quicker, but then his chances are not necessarily helped by a big slowdown just before the home straight. The leaders quicken. Run Timing then has some traffic problems in the stretch before closing as well as anyone when he's clear in the final 150 metres. Now that was an excellent effort under the circumstances, but it does present a few questions for his connections when we go to the map for this week's race. Now this is a race where the lead looks up for grabs to some extent and the pace looks only moderate, more like the win of Master of All than the race where Run Timing competed so well. But Run Timing's only victory so far in a brief career came when he led all the way over 1200 metres, a much better style of racing for this race on Saturday. After that win, he wasn't finishing his races off well ridden forward, prompting the change of tactics we saw in that replay. So the question for his connections now is this: do you keep him to a format where he went so well last start, or risk it all going wrong and the horse over racing by sending him forward again like he did in his early starts? For Master of All, the plan is uncomplicated. He's tactically in the same position he was in for both his wins in Class 5. He's just now in a higher grade. He could lead or sit close. We know he'll cope with those tactics. So the tip from me in race 5, Master of All. His winning factor, keeping it simple. Now the 3-year-old Run Timing may well turn out to be the better of these two horses in time, but for now, his connections have some decisions to make, and overthinking and over-racing could come into play. As for Master of All, he's going well, it sets up beautifully for him, and he's got to be the pick for me. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Enjoy Saturday's racing. See you next time.